Hey guys, and welcome back to another training video. We're going to be talking again about support and resistance one more time here, but we're going to tie in a little twist to support and resistance. Some of you, most of you probably watching this video, this concept may be new to you. You've probably never seen it before, and if it is, I highly recommend tuning into my training, my live training sessions, because I tend to go over this from time to time on a weekly basis or at least every 2 weeks, and keep it quite often when I go over this. Now, originally, we by now should really understand the idea of support and resistance, kind of how to start drawing it and what we're looking for. But when we're drawing support and resistance, there's two ways we could alternately draw our support and resistance levels. And the first one would be how we did it in the first video, and that would be pretty much by the naked eye. So when we're drawing support and resistance levels by the naked eye, we're more or less just looking at levels where we see significant support resistance rejections with our eyeball. Looking at levels kind of like we did in the first chart. The first chart we looked at was this one. And more or less I looked at levels just with my eye that stood out to me. That would be drawing it with the naked eye, to say the least. Now, there's another way we can draw it, and another thing we can really take into consideration when we're drawing these levels. And what that has to do with is price itself. So the quotes here on where we see the price at the side, this is the next little twist and the next level up to drawing your support and resistance levels, is considering the price that we're at. And what we're going to call that, there's a few words for it. Some people call it whole numbers, whole number theory. Or even some people will name it the quarter theory. More or less the same thing. This is a really neat concept in the market, and very, very true to how the market moves. So I'm going to take this over to this screen for a quick minute just to do a little bit of explaining before we go back to the chart, just to lay down the foundation a little bit. And this is a price action trading strategy, guys. So when we look at our quotes, when we look at our prices, we can really observe and analyze things around whole numbers. Whole numbers play as really major price levels in a currency pair. Whole numbers are numbers that just after this decimal point will have a number like 30000 or 31000, 1.32000, 1.4000. These are whole numbers. Anything with that 000 flush on it. Anything with 00 flush, it could be 142,000, 144,000, 145,000, etc. Those are whole numbers. This is what those whole numbers may look like on a few other currency pairs like AUD, USD. A whole number would be 0.80000, 0.81000. Those are 100 pips apart from each other. What I want to lay down in this video is talking about major whole price numbers. I want to start off by talking about major whole price numbers and then work forward. So a major whole price number is 1,000 pips distance apart from another major whole number. That's like this. That's like going from 1.30000. A whole number would be one. That's a whole number itself too. But another whole number would be 1.31000. This is a major whole number because after the decimal, we're looking at the first number that's changed. So the next major whole number up from this would be 1.40000. Or the next one down from 130 would be 120. So 1.20000. Those are 1,000 pip distance from each other. So what it kind of looks like is this. This is what we're really going to look at when we look at support and resistance. And you may have to watch this video 2 or 3 times once you really get the understanding of it. A little bit more of an advanced topic to really dig into if you're a new trader, but how price likes to move and the market likes to move, it likes to really move in an orderly fashion, kind of in a numerical fashion. It likes to work its way from large whole numbers all the way up to the next large whole number. So this is an example again of a major whole number, which would be 1.4000. The next major whole is right here, 130. So in the middle, there's a half point. In the middle of a major whole number, we have a half point. Now the market likes to work in these quarters. The market likes to work in these frames. And these types of numbers that have a wholeness to them can really serve as support and resistance when we look at it on the chart. There's a few other ways that these levels really serve us as a trader. And the market, when you really start to learn about support and resistance more in depth in this, you're going to realize the market kind of likes to work like magnets. And it likes to find these numbers and react around them. So what we're kind of going to do is go back to the chart, and we're going to apply the concept of just looking at whole numbers in our support and resistance. We're going to do the same thing we kind of did last time, where we start on a monthly chart. This is Euro USD. We're going to start on the monthly chart again and do the same thing we did at first, just eyeball it. After we eyeball it, we're going to look at the whole numbers. These are psychological numbers that the big guys like the banks, the institutions, hedge funds, they like to work around these numbers. They like to be really organized in how the market flows through these numbers. And the market likes to work kind of in increments to travel from one major number to the next major number. And it likes to work in between that in kind of frames, in levels. So let's go to this Euro USD chart. And like I said, when you're first drawing your support and resistance monthly levels, no matter what, when you're drawing support resistance, you always start on the monthly. You don't need to focus so much on all over here at first. You don't do that. At first, you don't do that. At first, you just focus on what's really in front of you. You zoom in and you really focus on what's in front of the chart first. Then we can consider looking over after. So I'm going to just be doing this chart as an example. And what I'm first going to do, I'm first going to just naked eye my support and resistance levels. I'm just going to do it by the naked eye. That's the first way. Then we're going to do it with the whole number theory. After, we're going to do it with the whole numbers. I'll show you how. So naked eyes first. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to grab my horizontal line and just start plotting out resistance levels, support levels that I can see on this monthly. And the first one that I see is right about here. Right there is the first significant monthly resistance level that I see here. I can see 4 months that the market failed to break this area. About 4 months here. We have one candle, 2, 3, and then the fourth goes down. So I'm kind of going to just put it right about there. That's my first level. And remember, you won't find too many levels off the monthly. You might say 2 or 3 or 3 to 5. Maybe even 6, 7. Some pairs, not every year. On average, you're going to probably fit around 2 to 3, 3 to 5 on average rate between monthly levels that you see on your chart. Especially if you're just looking at this big of a chart here and you're not looking all the way back. You don't need to do that. So second level stands out is right here. I'm just going to draw the line right now. Now when I zoom in, I can see here, more present time, I can see how this general area had some nice support and has had some nice support here. It's a nice area of support that we can see even to the left here. Support was formed. If I put it right there, you can see how these past couple months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, this level's reacted like a significant support here, this whole area here. So we're just going to draw the line because remember what we're going to do is draw the zones over after. We're going to draw our zones so we can fit more of that price in there. But when I look left, I can see nice resistance over here. When I look to the left, right, I see resistance formed right over here on the left-hand side. Now this is common to see. Resistance that was on the left-hand side here, this area, is now acting like a support. That's a very, very common price action tactic to see. So that right there is a perfect level of old resistance, which is now new support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone that and put one right on the top one too. So far, 2 levels. two price levels of monthly support, monthly resistance. So next one, you can already see it right down here. I don't put it down at the bottom. I like to touch most of what price has been touched on that resistance, on that support level. So what we're going to do, we're going to clone our zone. And right there, I just did some naked eye drawing on the chart. All right, that was just me drawing naked eye support resistance levels. Now another way to draw them would be with the whole number theory. So I'm going to show you another way to draw your levels of support resistance. Remember this. Remember these levels that I drew. Kind of take a little picture of it in your mind right now. Just remember it. So I'm going to remove all the drawings. And now we're going to look at price in whole numbers. We're going to look mainly at what's called the major whole numbers. So major whole numbers, I'm going to start at 1.000. That's a major whole number. I'll make that one, I'll make it a blue color. I'll make that blue. So if I double click on the line, I can coordinate it to exactly 1.0. Now price hasn't been there recently, but it's still a major whole number. And you're going to learn more and more with this concept that that major whole level number could be a target. Next major whole would be 1,000 pips up. That would be at 1.1000 right here. These blue ones represent my major whole numbers. So the next major whole figure, the major whole number up from that, would be 120 right here. 1.20. Next major whole number from 120 would be 130 right here. Double click the line and the coordinates will appear. And you just make it 1.300. So these are called major whole numbers. Remember that. Going back to this, these are major numbers. The market likes to travel in between major numbers and half points, working its way up to the next major number. So let's take a look at this a little bit more. Next, I'm going to draw the half points. The half point is the middle number between 130 and 140. So a half point, we have 10 to 110. Half point, if you know your pips, that would be, again, the 500 pip mark at 1.05. So what I'm going to do is make this 1.05 flat. Let's make these black just so they differentiate themselves. The black lines will be our half points. The blue lines are our major whole numbers. So a half point now up from 110 to 120, that's 115. When you do more studying on this is going to be new to a lot of you. You're going to notice that these levels serve as constant support and resistance. Let's keep going forward. Now we're at 120. Next half point would be 125. That would be right about here. 125. Just click enter and it coordinates it. So blue lines are major holes. Black lines, half points. Major hole, half point. Major hole, half point. Now let's sort of look at my levels in price. So this is another way to draw them. Or again, a concept that's deep to take into consideration as a trader is by just lining them up with whole figure numbers. Of course, you can do eyeball at the same time. You don't just have to do it this way. This is an add-on to support and resistance at the end of the day. It's a true nature to how the market moves. It likes to work in between these levels. It likes to make itself, once broken, I will show you, from one point to the next point of that whole figure number. So look at these levels, and they're all just whole figure numbers. You can see, let's just go down over here now. You can see how we came down to a half point number. The market formed support there, and we shot up. We broke through this point. Let's actually take this to a weekly chart. You guys will see it much more there. So again, pay attention to which levels are black and which levels are blue. So market comes down, pulls back up to a half point, forms resistance here, shoots down, breaks this major whole number, and makes it way back down to this half point. This is how they work. They work as targets. When price breaks one whole number, it likes to go to the next one. And you can see how in between here, we worked our way from one point to the next, and back to the previous one, and formed resistance here, and come right back down to that support. Notice how the support I eyeballed at first. This was the same support level that I eyeballed at first, right? It's at 1.05000. That's a half point whole figure number. We formed support around there. Notice every time the market breaks this whole figure number, it travels to the next one. If it forms a resistance here, you can see how we had a strong layer of resistance formed all through here. Market failed to attempt to break that resistance. It tried to, but failed to. Every time it did that, it went back to the whole figure number, and then went back up to resistance, back to the whole figure, back up to resistance. Lots of resistance was formed here, and it was around a very whole figure number, 1.15000. So we constantly move in and out of these numbers. We constantly break one of them and travel to the next, go back to the next. We're constantly moving in and out of here. Not only are we forming resistance and support levels, again, we're constantly moving from one level to the next or back to that level. You can see here there's finally a point where the market broken out of what was resistance all in here. Finally broke out. Where did it go to? I want you to pay attention here to where the market broke through and traveled to next. Right? Similar to as when we break out here, we travel down to the bottom one, the half point. When we break out of this whole figure number, the market travels to the next one, and resistance gets formed there immediately. And where do we go? We pull back to the previous whole figure, and then go up to that. When this one breaks, where does the market go? It goes up to the next whole figure number. So it's really working like increments in here. It's really working in these increments here in price, in these 500 pip ranges we can see, especially on this Euro USD chart. It's working in levels on this chart. You can see every time we break one, we travel to the next. Now, right now, we're literally resting on top of a half point figure, which was 115, which used to be resistance over here. So this right now is serving as a very, very strong support level at the moment. If we break it aggressively, we're most likely intended to head down to the next one, just as if it could work into that previous one there. This is the whole number theory, and it's another way to really serve and draw and take into consideration with support and resistance, guys. So we're going to wrap this video up. I hope this video was some help, guys. Stay tuned for more videos and more trainings. If this concept's new to you, I highly recommend tuning into my live trainings where we can spend a lot more time and go much more in depth on this topic. I will see you guys there. You guys take care and enjoy.